Welcome everyone to Aussie Tech Security episode 15. It's been a while, a long while. Well, we'll go through why it's been we've had a bit of a break in a minute, but we are brought to you by Aussie Tech Web Hosting. That's athwebhosting.com.au, and Roger can, in a minute, he can tell us, he can plug some of his stuff as well. But talking about Roger, here he is. Hey Roger, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, Glenn?
Not too bad, thanks. First of all, where are you? For those on the video, you can see that Roger's not in his usual surroundings. He looks like he's in an airport on the other side of the world. But where are you?
I am in a cybersecurity range. It's literally where we play around with things and see if we can make them break and fix them and work out what's happening and all that sort of stuff. So it's a total diagnostic room. And we literally have systems here that we can actually monitor things and see how things break, how people are hacking them, working out not only problems but also coming up with other new ways of attacking as well. So
excellent. And it looks like it's pretty cold. It looks like I can see a shirt, a jumper, and a jacket.
Yeah, it's I think it's about -30 in here, but no, it's not. We're actually having a nice day today in Canberra. It's actually quite wonderful.
Excellent. Well, you're in the right spot because I wanted to for something different, as if you're probably not already sick of it all. But we're going to have a chat about the census in a second.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Yes. But what do you want to plug, Roger? You're still doing your lunch and learns and.
I'm still doing a number of things. The stuff working at the university has taken a sort of front seat for at the moment. We're teaching Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday mornings, right. So it's fairly substantial. We've got 200 students that we put through in those times, right. And it really is the basic cybersecurity course, understanding what the bad guys can do and how to protect yourself individually. Right. And that then goes on to risk management in defense and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite a flat chat. We've been scaling back on a number of things that we're doing, so I haven't been writing many blogs because I've been getting lessons ready and plans and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And doing the reason why I'm here today is the fact that I'm trying to get some of the examples that we use to work properly and not have to literally be in the middle of a laboratory and find out that X is not working because it's fallen over, and I literally documented all that and go, this is how it's supposed to work.
Yes. Well, if you ever get stuck for a lesson, you could just play one of these episodes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. Okay. All of this stuff is hands-on. So, and that's the idea behind it. The idea is to teach these people, and one of the things we've noticed is that the number of people who are coming into the school, their understanding of security in the digital world is literally non-existent. What they see is the keyboard, the mouse, and what's on the screen. They don't understand what actually happens when I want to go do a search on Google. Right. And that's the whole thing about the whole course, is to teach people that what happens on the screen is only 1% of what the computer is actually doing. Yep. And because it is doing certain things, the bad guys can actually intercept information or do other things as well, get you to do stupid things. And there's definitely an undercurrent that people have no really supreme understanding of what is actually going on. So it makes it very difficult and that's literally why we have to start from scratch. We actually come in and say, okay, you use a computer, you're doing a thesis or you're doing your reports and everything else. What happens if this happens? Yeah. And what happens if they steal this information when you're sending it to the people in charge? So they have the idea is to get them to a point where they're actually thinking along the lines of, if I am going to secure my system, how do I have to do it? Yeah. And then implementing that in, we're protecting Australia because we're in the Defence Force. We need to go further with that as well. So. Oh,
that sounds good. So what is the plan, to expand to other unis or anything, or just
At the moment, we're in the process of, we've got 3 classrooms here, and we can handle probably about 35 people. But at the moment, they're actually seriously thinking about taking it up to 100. Right. So they're getting new classrooms, new equipment, and all the rest of the stuff that's there too as well.
Well, I suppose the more people that learn about the security and how to secure themselves, well, it's, you know, the less, I suppose, less advantageous it is. If you could say that,
this is dead right.
Mm.
The actual problems that we get with people understanding things, and literally the good thing about the range is we can actually show people how an attack happens and actually put them in the box seat and say, you are now targeted.
Wow.
Okay, and this is what we've got. This is the information we've already stolen from your computer.
The range.
So they can actually see that it's no longer rainbows and unicorns on the internet. This is serious stuff, and people have to shoot the unicorns and actually do something about it, because it's not going to go away.
Geez, I wish I was in Canberra. I'd sit in on a few of those. It sounds like so exciting.
Yeah. It really is an eye-opener, especially when we go through the course.
Yeah, yes. Now, look, the reason for the hiatus, I think it's been of quite a few months, hasn't it? It's probably my fault.
I think it's a bit of both of our faults.
Well,
You've been busy and I've been busy, so yeah.
Yeah, and you've lost power and whatever at your office or something, and...
Yeah, well, that didn't help matters either.
No, I back in, when was it? Probably late, whatever the last episode was. Yeah,
late June, early July, I think it was. So.
Yeah, I took a job with the AEC and with the election, and that went for about 3 months, and yeah, that consumed all of my time. Absolutely everything, just about 7 days a week. So that was pretty big. But so we're back. So I know we've had a few interested people asking, what's going on? Has the tech security faded? Well, no, it hasn't, because we're here.
No, definitely gone on a tangent, and we're back.
That's right.
Yay!
Now, look, what I thought we'd talk about this week is this episode is probably have a bit of I just probe Roger's brain, what he thinks about the census, because as we know, it's probably been done to death everywhere else, but Roger, from a security point of view, what he seems to think has happened, or what did happen, and maybe what they could have done to fix it. So a brief recap, the census was held sometime last month, Tuesday, 9th of August, I think it was, and it went down. The site went down. There was a lot of people, they were trying to force people to do the census online. I think it went down late Tuesday night, and it was down for about a week, and no one could get on.
No, it wasn't late Tuesday night. It was actually within a half an hour of everybody logging onto it.
Right.
Now, there was a couple of things wrong with everything that was sort of involved. One, I don't think they did a stress test on the web server that they were using, or the web environment they were using. They would have gone in there and gone, yeah, we can take 100,000 connections per minute, but that didn't involve 100,000 connections per minute opening numerous pages. So those people who are going from page 1 to page 2 would put more stress on the system than just someone that's coming there and putting their username and information in there.
Right.
Okay, so that was one thing. The other thing is they did not have a backup solution. In other words, what happened, even though it happened, there should have been people on staff. There should have been 5 or 6 servers they can literally, on the fly, flick everybody off to. Again, this didn't happen. And the third one was someone in the department went online and said, our system is bulletproof.
Yeah.
And that would have been a red rag to every hacker in the world, along the lines of, you're expecting 10 million people to connect over the next 24 hours. How about we give you 50 million connections? And that would have literally caused a denial of service because all the other stuff wasn't in place.
Yeah. So
I honestly don't believe they were hacked to a level where information was stolen. But then again, we are talking about people who are using computers that they're logging onto that are now inputting information from their keyboard into an environment that's already secure. But that doesn't look at what the environment you're typing into is like. We've come across computers with thousands of malware infections, and they would have been looking into putting information into the Census website, and everything would have been captured on their keyboard. So again, it wasn't thought through. The best thing they could have done was, or a number of things they could have done was, they had to find a way of making sure that people's computers, when they logged on, were as clean as possible. Because that wasn't done. So
what are you saying, that people's computers that could have been infected actually pushed something up the pipe?
No. What I'm getting at is that all of the questions in the Census itself would have literally been, we've got a keylogger on a PC. All of that personal information and everything that the people do is now in a file on their PCs.
Oh, yes, right. I see what you're saying. Yes.
Okay, and nobody even thought about that.
No.
And the experience that we've had probably 50% of computers have got some level of malware on them. That they don't use an antivirus, they don't use an anti-malware, they don't think about these sort of things. And people would have been quite happily using their Apples or Macs and PCs and everything else to put this information in, and there would have been no thought about what the PC is actually collecting as well.
So apart from that, then, do you think so the information hit the ABS server, and is it then secure?
It would have been secure once literally the information they were putting into the website would have been secured with TLS. So it would have been SSL secured. TLS would have made sure that anything I'm typing on that website would have been encrypted. So all of that information would have been secure. It's actually outside that pipe that there's the problem.
So, okay. So, So the Census. So where would you? Not that you want to probably lay blame, but would it be? No. Would it be, maybe without mentioning names? Would it be with the company tasked to look over the whole thing, or would it be, say, the company tasked to do the stress tests? Because both were paid quite handsomely.
They were paid very handsomely. I think it was both of their problems. One of them, who built the system, didn't think of the consequences of 10 million people connecting at once. The other ones didn't think of the consequences because they didn't actually test the environment. They should have got there and gone, okay, if I have even 100,000 people connecting at once, what is going to happen to the system? How much stress is it going to be? And the reports that should have come out of that would have been, we've got one interface that's collecting all of these connections.
Yeah,
I would have gone to someone like Google and actually picked their brains. I would have gone to them and said, if we want to do this, how are we going to do it? Because Google's got a reputation. I can put a search language in, and I can get a response back from Google search within a second.
Yes.
Now, there is 100 million people doing searches on Google every single day.
Yeah.
So they have an understanding of what is required to actually look at the back end and go, okay, how do we do this?
Well, that's right. And I would have thought from the company that built the platform, it's a worldwide company, so I thought they would have been well versed in this sort of traffic and all this sort of stuff. Like, we're a small population, and it's only say one in every household. It's not even every person going to hit this site. It's just
that's right.
And over an expansive time as well. So I thought it was very whatever's happened. Big question mark over.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree.
And so you did mention Google. So why wouldn't they have got the gig? Would it have gone to tender, this sort of thing?
It would have definitely gone to tender. Right. Being government, they look for supposedly value for money, but the first criteria with how expensive it is. The trouble is with what has happened with the census itself has probably put back things like electronic voting by 15 years because of what has happened. What they're saying now is, and if anybody who brings up, let's go to electronic voting, the first thing they're going to trot out on their wheelchair is going to be the Census website.
Yes,
because it wasn't done properly.
Well, because I was a part of the back end of the election, or back of house of this election, I saw how it all worked, and the massive amounts of paper, and you know how big that Senate voting sheet was, or especially in Queensland, and just paper, and then at the end of it, we didn't really know who's won the election, or really who the senators were, for like a good month after it. And I was for electronic voting. I thought, why isn't this done electronically? But now I'm against it. As you quite rightly pointed out, where do you sit on that? Do you question mark electronic voting, or you just think in the right hands, in the right platform, the right company that looks after it, it still could work?
It could work, but they would have to spend a fairly substantial amount of money, because they would have to look at three areas. One is the resilience of the system, to make sure that if something does happen, they have got lots and lots of redundancy in place. The other one is the security of the system, and the security of not only putting the information in, but how they're going to do it. Yeah, fair enough. If you're going to do electronic voting, how are you going to manage that? Are you going to have it as a website, or are they going to have specific machines in a place where everybody uses them? That's fine. The other thing is, are they going to look at the results of what comes back from it as well? You know, are we going to have? We have a voting system where you still have to say, well, this is me. Then you get your bit of paper. How are you going to do that electronically? So there's no correlation between the person voting and what they've said, because that is very important as well.
Yeah. So look, there was a lot of complaints around the census, and that one of them was like people overseas. They said they couldn't log in, which I suppose was right because it was supposed to be geo-blocked.
Yes.
So I don't know. Did you know if that was the case? So people overseas, how would they log in? They'd have to VPN in somehow, I suppose.
That's right. That was the other thing. If we're going to have this sort of environment, how are we going to not only protect the information but protect the whole system as is? You know, we show here how easy it is to create just a standard DOS attack on just one server, just from the number of PCs in the room, which is 24. Now, if we can do that with a number, imagine what you can do if you've got 20 or 30,000 infected machines doing it. And that's, again, they don't. What we're finding, especially through what we're doing at the moment at the Cyber Centre, is that people do not think outside the box.
Yeah.
And this is really critical, because if you don't think outside the box, you don't understand what the bad guys are doing.
Yeah. So, okay, so it went down Tuesday of the census day. And so are you saying that it was, DDoS for a week? Like, why was it down so long?
I honestly think that what happened on the Tuesday night, because they didn't have any resilience put into the system and they didn't have any backup web pages, they didn't have any backup databases, they didn't have any information that they actually run up straight away, that the system literally failed from that. They didn't, fair enough, it's easy enough to put in, I don't think they thought of having resilience at the DNS level. So in other words, let's go www.census. whatever it was, and have a round-robin situation in the back end, but so surely, that they have five or six servers that are running that are collecting this information. Yeah. If that happens and one goes down, it doesn't knock out the whole system. But again, they relied on one point of entry.
But this is... It just sounds like bread and butter, like bread and butter 101, server 101. It's crazy.
You know, it's the same. If you think back to there was a what the hell was it called? Click to buy campaign. They had 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
When that fell over, everybody screamed and carried on. Again, they didn't think the problem through. They didn't think, okay, I'm going to give an iPad away, or I'm going to sell an iPad for 50% less than what it normally pays for. Yeah. The number of people who are going to go, shit, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Not only was the stock not there, but also the systems weren't set up for 20,000 people to plug into it, going, I'll buy that, I'll buy that. Now what do I do?
Yeah, so I think, look, the ramifications of this is going to go on, because I don't know. Do you reckon another 6 years they'll do another electronic one? I suppose they will.
I think they will, but I think, to tell you the truth, they're going to throw the security blanket over the top of it, and nobody's actually going to know what happened. And if they do that, they're in a bad situation if they do that.
Yeah. So they're moving on, say, to the privacy issues that surrounded the census. Did you have any issues with your name and address being attached and retained to the data for 6 years or something till the next one?
4 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I'm a great believer that I don't put personal information to a website. Now, that's a personal understanding from me, because I can see how it all works, and I've done some of the things that these people do. Now, to me, putting any personal information into a system where not only do I not control the connection, but the back end is a bit weird, I really do literally step back. Like we bought a hard drive system for a client recently, and to get it outside America, we had to put a lot of information into the actual purchasing process.
Right.
And at the moment they started asking for driver's license and passport numbers and everything else, I said, no, thank you. We are not going to buy it from you. We'll go somewhere else. We eventually found one in Europe that only wanted email address and a delivery address. That was it. Now, fair enough, the Americans have this requirement that, overseas and exporting, but this was a hard drive cage. That's all it was. It was just hardware. There was no understanding of what it was going to be used for, apart from putting into a server to hold hard drives.
Yeah.
So why would you need all of that information to be put into their system, which is then a priority target for anybody who wants to hack them?
Well, that's right. And that's right. That's right. I was going to say, you don't know how secure their system is.
That's right. And I have a lot of problems with that component of what is going on.
You're probably right there, because I know, you sign up for different things, different websites and all this, and it says, what's your address and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, look, I do put my address in, but maybe I shouldn't be. And all this sort of stuff, maybe I should be pulling back.
We have a PO box, and everybody in the family, if we put anything into, we're getting it delivered, it gets delivered for the PO box. 2 reasons. One, it's relatively anonymous, which is good for us. Nobody knows actually where we live. The other part is that if nobody's home when something turns up, then we don't have to go running around anywhere. We visit the post box at any one time, and once or twice or 3 times a week, and we get everything out of the box. If we go there during business hours, we get it whatever is there, and we don't have to worry about having someone there to pick up the sign for this and do that.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you did the census electronically rather than paperly.
No, but that was a thing based on my wife wanted to do it electronically.
Okay, right, fair enough.
And you know how that works, don't you?
She who must be obeyed.
That's the one.
Yes. So okay.
We're going to do this. Okay.
So I was going to ask you a further question, which you might know the answer then. Right at the end, it said, do you want your personal information retained in archives for 99 years and then released?
How about no?
That's what I put. Because I thought, I don't want it retained at all. I think, look, I don't care, obviously, in 99 years, but my question was, it didn't tell me where it was going to be stored or anything like that. And so I'm thinking,
right.
I don't know what's going to happen. And where's it going to be? The local Maccas on their server? Who knows?
Well, that's the other thing. You don't understand, or you're never informed about when people are going to put the information. They could be, for all we know, it might be on a USB hard drive that someone's got in their safe.
It might be, yes, that's right. It's crazy.
What we do? That's a problem. Yes. Hey, sorry, but that's a problem.
Yeah, and look, you're right, because I also, like, for my information, I didn't really care too much, but because I did mine probably the week later when the site came back up. And I'm thinking, well, where's all the data? Has it gone to China, or it's gone to Russia, or where's this data gone? And, and because I'm putting not just my information, but also my kids' information and all this sort of stuff. And, you just think, oh, geez, this better be right. This better be right. But,
no, I totally agree, and it's probably the younger people that we really have to worry about, because you and me, we're getting old. We're not really worried about that information. Yes, we try to keep it as secure as possible, but the old generation, or the generation that's coming through now, who are the digital natives, now they have this attitude that privacy is non-existent, and which is a bad outlook to have.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you need to have your own because bad things can happen, can't it?
Well, that's right. Yeah, and it doesn't take much to hack things. And as I said, working in the range, we show that all the time.
Yeah, and there was a thing that just came through today. I saw on one of the Facebooks or something, like, my kids are into this app on the iPad, Musically, and you lip sync to a song and then you share it. And like with the world, and apparently they're saying, some schools are banning it and advising kids to get off it because it geolocates and geo-advises where the videos are coming from. So it's sort of, pretty much loosely sort of can pinpoint where the young kids are. And that can be crazy as well.
Yeah, the other thing is people don't look at what's behind us, okay?
Yeah.
If we take a photo, I'm going to take a photo of me, take a selfie, but what is on the wall behind me? And if you remember when I was back in the office, I had a whiteboard, and there were times when I forgot to take things off.
Oh, right.
Okay, because it's not in my mind, because I'm talking to you directly. I'm not worried about what's behind. But if you think about it, it's recorded for prosperity because it is behind. It is in that video. Now, people don't think about that as well. No. If you do a lip sync and you're at the front of your house and you're taking a photo of your house, then not only have they got a geolocation, but they also know what your house looks like.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Okay. Again, that we don't think the technology through, and this is one of the other things did you watch Four Corners this week?
No, I've heard about it. I'm going to do the iView and catch it up.
Watch it. It really is an eye-opener, because there was a comment in there that technology is advancing so fast that security is not keeping up with it. Okay, yes. And this is a huge problem across the board. Yeah. Now we've got Internet of Things that are hitting us really hard. We've got bring your own device in business. We've got 3D printers, which have the capability of I can take 2 different photographs of a key and replicate a key to a house, for instance. And then we've got drones and privacy. And these just 4 items are the next big thing that we really need to have a conversation about. Now, I've been accused of being a fearmonger.
No, never.
No, not me. But I'm a pragmatic person.
Yeah, that's right.
I can see some of these things happening, and we've got recorded attitudes of where they've happened. So, I'm not being scaremongering. I'm pragmatic about we need to protect ourselves, and people just don't think about that.
Yeah, it's like you could liken it to, if you're a mechanic and a car goes past and you hear something, you go, that I don't know, that ball joint's going to fall off.
1970 Falcon has got a slip diff or something. Yeah.
And you go up and say, hey, mate, there's something going to happen there. I just heard it clunk. He goes, get out of here. And, and then 2 weeks later, he's flying down the highway at 100, bang, snap, it goes. So you're not fear-mongering, you're just cautious. And
right.
Pragmatic, as you say. But so that for those listeners, that Four Corners was Monday, 29th of August, and it was Cyber War. Cyber War. That's what it was, I think. So if you've missed it, what a great opportunity to get on the iView and stream it. Yeah. And
the other thing is, right near the end of it, they actually got Four Corners in here, and that we were talking at the SCODA system that we've got in here, which is literally critical infrastructure, and how we can actually target it and break it and do whatever we want to do, and also how we protect it. And one of the courses that the university runs is actually on critical infrastructure, and the people who manage it, they come in here, they get a chance to actually play with this stuff. Right. Because it doesn't matter if the power station goes down, for instance, the one that's on the table, whereas if we took the power station down outside, we'd get into a lot of trouble.
Yes. Yeah, well, that what you're doing down there would be so totally interesting. I'd love to be down there and part of that uni course. That sounds great. All right. Well, anything else? Any other thoughts on the census or anything else that you want to?
Not really. Apart from they just didn't think it through.
Yeah. Any other important security issues come to mind before we go this week?
No, not really. As I said, I've been focusing on this stuff for a while. But some of the stuff that we've been playing with, I'm actually going to start writing about because. Okay. And maybe we discuss it in the next couple of episodes as well, because some of the things that we're doing is actually showing the students, this is what the bad guys do. Now we're going to get you to do what the bad guys can do, to show you how easy it is for the bad guys to do this. And literally we're using things like Census, we're using Metasploit, we're using systems that are readily available, and we're definitely using a system called Kali. And if you don't know Kali, you can download it from kali.org, and it is literally a penetration testing system. Every student that we put through here gets a hands-on, feely experience of using Kali. So they understand that if Joe Blogg, a 14-year-old, can download it and stick it on a virtual environment on their home computer, then they can do all of this stuff as well. And that sort of stuff is always there.
Did you say at the start of the show, that when the kids come in to the room that you grab information off their computers?
No.
That would be good. That would be good.
We're actually debating this with the hierarchy in the university at the moment, because what we want to show is literally when they walk into the room, they've all got their mobile phones, they've all got their tablets, they've all got their laptops. What we want to do is actually show them what happens to their own systems along the lines of, there's the Black Hat conference they have in Las Vegas every year.
Yeah.
They actually have a wall of shame,
Right.
where literally there's a screen. People have connected to the Wi-Fi inside the Black Hat conference, and their details are put on the wall. Okay,
Right.
Now what they don't put on there is usernames and passwords and things like that, but they do go, this is your phone and this is your name. Okay,
Nice.
Now you've done something absolutely stupid by attaching yourself to a Black Hat conference Wi-Fi system.
Yes.
Okay, how stupid are you?
That's what.
And the trouble is, they get 30% of people coming through the door doing exactly that.
Yeah,
And
because I remember, like, it sticks in my mind when I went to high school, and I went to when I first started in Year 7 and went into the French classroom, the French class first lesson, and the guy comes in, just spoke French for the whole lesson. Just that was it. And and then at the end, and we're just going, oh, we don't know.
Yeah, well, look at the French.
Yeah, and he did it as an example of, like, that's how you learn the most, is just by just being immersed into it. And yeah, but maybe you should try and do that when, as the kids walk in, get some data off their machines or something, and because that'd be a wake up. That'd be a whoa, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got the systems and we've got the technology here, and we've got the guys who can do this stuff as well, which is the other frightening part. Some of the people here, they've done their master's theses on things like deconstructing malware, so they know their shit.
Yes, jeez, how hard is that? Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, but he did a thesis on Stuxnet, so he knows how these systems hang together and how this stuff was delivered and how it infected and what the infection rates were and how quickly it got around and all of this sort of stuff, because he did the research on it.
Well, I'm glad he's using his powers for good.
Yes, so I agree. Because if he was using his powers for evil, we'd be in a lot of trouble.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that just about brings us to the end of the first episode back,
Yes,
episode 15. So, thanks for joining us. We'll go and see the video if you want on the YouTube, or you can get it through wherever you got it from, wherever you're listening to it from. Don't forget the Aussie Tech Radio, aussietechradio.com. This and other Australian tech podcasts will be on the 24/7 turntable. Easiest way to do it is through the TuneIn Radio app. So jump onto that. It's on all platforms, and then search for Aussie Tech Radio, and you'll be there. All right, good stuff. Good to see you again, Roger. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
And we'll see you.
We have to do this more regularly.
Maybe in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'd say 2 weeks, yeah.
Yep, sweet. All right. What connection are you on down there? Just as a matter of
I'm on a
interest.
4G here.
Pretty nice. Very nice.
It is.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn.